Hello, and welcome. Welcome to my channel here at Weekly Wisdom. This is Damali, the founder and lead counselor at Forerunner Counseling, located in Montclair, New Jersey. And on my channel, what I try to attempt to do is to address some of the mental health or relational dynamics that go on in our lives and incorporating them with spiritual truths, how we can navigate that space with spiritual truth. So I cover different topics regarding mental and emotional well-being as much as spiritual well-being. And so my topic today, what I want to do is to talk about relationships, because it's so weird because a lot of times when you scroll through social media, most of the people who train things about relationships. And in fact, I was talking to one of my friends yesterday, and we were talking about there was a psychologist. He was a very, very well-known psychologist, but he passed away. And I think the conclusion of his experience as a psychotherapist was there is a need to connect with people. That's what he summarized his experience with therapy or working with people in the counseling or therapy space. And when you think about even when you look about some of the problems that you have, the issues that you have, they are either relationships with others, how others are relating with you, and different contexts, whether it's family, it's work related, marital related, children, parent relationships, but it's mostly most of our struggles are within our relationships with ourselves, relationships with others, and sometimes relationship with God. And so today I'm going to talk about how healthy is your relationship. But I'm going to do like a two-part, because this is going to be kind of a little lengthy, but I'm not going to drag it. I'm going to talk about what is healthy, and next time I'm going to talk about what's not healthy. So just hang in there. Especially for people who have been in bad relationships or toxic relationships. Now, as I list some of these things, I'm going to kind of read them off of my list here. Is you can evaluate with different people that you may have struggles with as you relate with them. So you want to see what resonates with you and what's not. So these are the things that make a relationship look like it's healthy, or characteristics of a healthy relationship. Number one, you tend to have fun together, right? More often than not, you have more fun than you don't. Of course, everybody has their bad days, but to the most part, you are able to have fun with each other. Okay. The other one is like you enjoy spending time separately and with your own friends sometimes. And then also you're able to have each other. You have each other. You have your personal friends, right? In other words, that when you hang out with your friends, you enjoy them. And also when you hang out with your friends or your partner or your relatives, whatever their friends are, you find that you also enjoy time with them. You enjoy spending time separately with your own friends as well as other friends, the other one's friends. So some of you don't have that, but that's one of the indicators that this is a healthy relationship. The other thing is that you always feel safe with each other. Now, when you're dealing with relationships, none of us has not, all of us have been kind of touched by trauma or attachment wounding somewhere in our lives. And so there are people that may feel safe and there are people that may not feel safe. But the person that you're in a relationship with, or people who are in close relations with you, you want to feel like you're safe with them. You want to also be able to feel like you can trust each other. If you don't trust someone, you can work on your ability to rebuild trust. But if you don't trust someone, that may not be a healthy trait to have as a healthy relationship. The other trait you can look at is you're faithful to each other and you have also made this as a commitment. Now, when you're in an intimate relationship, being faithful to someone and making a commitment to that faithfulness is very crucial to making the relationship healthy, because live in a time where People have multiple partners in their relationship and it works for different people, different things work for them. But to the most part, the way we are designed as humans, you need to feel like the person that is important to you is committed to you and not so many other people that they are committed to. That's why when people feel like they've been cheated on, their trust is being broken. So you want to have commitment. Then you also feel like there is support for each other's goals in life, like educational goals or career goals, like fitness goals and things like that. You feel like you have someone who supports you, your cheerleader. They are willing to believe in you, to support you, encourage you, to help you to achieve your goals. Okay. The other thing is that there is respect for each other's opinions, even when those opinions are different. None of us is always going to be in agreement with everyone all the time, even the people that you care for the most. It's okay to be in, where you don't agree with someone, but if you don't respect each other's differences, then you want them to conform to you or they want you to conform to them. And that's not a healthy trait because it's okay to be different. I always tell my clients that your differences don't have to divide you, but actually can bring you closer. Okay. The other thing is that you can solve conflicts without putting each other down or cursing at each other or making threats. Sometimes because of our emotional development, we may be in different stages. Some people may be stuck in infant or childhood stages of emotional development that the way to resolve conflict is by being like a child, calling names, putting somebody else down. So that's not a best way to resolve. So sometimes the way you resolve conflict can help you to see if a relationship is healthy. I remember I had a couple one day. I had never seen a couple like that. They were very respectful when they were talking about their differences. They were very careful that it doesn't come off degrading, it doesn't come off offensive, it doesn't. I had never seen a couple that did that at all. That was and I actually told them, like, I've never seen a couple that is so respectful of each other's feelings the way you guys are, even if you're in a disagreement. And one of them was really unhappy, but the way they came off to the other person, they didn't come off degrading and name calling. They were not making threats. They were just respectful. So that is a mark of a healthy relationship. And they actually worked out good. They really got closer. And another thing, this is across the board, the ability to accept responsibility for your actions. A lot of times we become victims and blame other people for our problems, but you have to know how to accept responsibility. I remember when I was starting out in counseling, I was doing like some groups. I was overseeing like a group. And we had this one member in the group that was causing so much chaos for everybody. And the other group members wanted to leave the group. And I'm like, man, 9 people cannot leave, or 10 people, or 5 people cannot leave just because of one person. And when I went to my supervisor told me, Damali, even if there is 1% truth, let's say you're the leader and she's blaming you, and there is 1% truth in what she's saying to you, and the 99% of it is wrong, you want to take responsibility for that 1%. And that really helped me a lot because whenever someone comes to me with their concern with me, even if I may see where they were wrong, I'm also responsible to examine myself to see what I could have done better so that I can have a growth mindset as opposed to just blaming other people when things don't go well. So the ability to accept responsibility is a huge, huge thing because we are designed to be in relationships, but we are responsible for our actions or what happens with us in relationships so that we don't continue that. Especially people who find themselves in codependent relationships or abusive relationships. So easy to be victimized, but you have to learn to take responsibility and accept it. So the other thing is the ability to apologize when you do wrong. Oh my goodness, these basic things, they go a very long way. Some people never apologize there is a temperament of a choleric, if you've ever done your temperament and you know what a choleric person temperament may look like, they are very task oriented, that they are so goal oriented. Everything that they do has to end up in achieving something. And so when you tell them something that they did wrong, it's like their brain cannot register what you're telling them. They easily gravitate to explaining why they did what they did. So many times they never apologize. They have a hard time apologizing because they have a hard time recognizing where they did wrong because their intentions are always to achieve the goal. So if goals are not attained, they're trying to blame other people. And so when you go to a choleric and you don't know how they are, you may end up being the one apologizing for the thing that they did wrong because they are just like that intelligent in how they process issues. So, and somebody is able to apologize for their wrongdoing, take note of that. That's a healthy trait. But if they are not, mark it because it will continue to repeat itself. The other thing is there is equal decision making, power about what to do in the relationship. Many relationships, especially intimate relationships, they always feel like one person has more leverage than over the other one. One person is in control, has power in the relationship, and the other person doesn't have power. So if you feel like there is no equal decision-making power, that may be a sign that that's not healthy. But if there is equal decision-making power, that's a healthy relationship. You don't feel like you have to really go extra to get your decisions even recognized or acknowledged. That's another trait of a healthy relationship. The other thing that you find is that you have equal say in financial matters. Now, a lot of people never talk about finances before they get married. I see this when I work with couples, that have been married. And sometimes the finances are completely different conversation because it was never addressed. But if you're in a relationship, you want to build a healthy financial relationship so that you don't feel like one person has more leverage, especially one person makes more money than the other person. It's very easy to use that as leverage to have power in the relationship, but it shouldn't be like that. You also another trait that you have, you may realize when it's healthy is like you're proud to be with each other. You're proud, you feel like it's a privilege to have the other person. Like, how did this person end up with being in a relationship with me? You're happy that they are in your life and the same way that they feel the same way with you. They are proud, you're proud with each other, proud to be with each other. The other one is like you encourage each other's interests, If one of you likes sports, let's say one of you like football, the other one is not, and another one likes tennis. It's not about we're gonna dump tennis and go for football, we're gonna dump football and go for tennis. But you encourage each other's interests. Again, we are very different. There are people who love golf. Like if I was a person who was in a relation with someone who loves golf, even if I don't know the game, I would just have to learn the game if the person is interested in that game. But it's not something that I would be like, I cannot do that because I don't know that I don't know that game. So don't be rigid. Just be able to encourage somebody else's interest so that you can grow. Um, Another thing about healthy relationship is that there is some level of privacy. Your letters, your diary, your phone calls are respected as your own unless you violate that. Even when you violate those boundaries, privacy is very, very crucial in healthy relationship because if you have to sleep with one eye open, you have to guard your phone all the time because some people take that information and use it against others. But you want to be able to respect someone's privacy because if people feel like they have their own personal space, they are more willing to trust you with their vulnerability. But if you keep on being suspicious and questioning them, then they're gonna hide from you. A lot of times when couples come to me and one of them is lying, I don't really focus so much on the lies as much as why they have to feel the need to lie. For me, if somebody lies to me, I wouldn't be offended that they're lying to me. I'll ask myself, what have I done in this relationship with you that you cannot tell me the truth? At least that's how my brain looks at it, as opposed to taking offense that you're lying to me. I'll examine myself again, taking responsibility or accepting responsibility. How have I contributed to you not being able to tell me the truth? That's what I would be more interested in, because I can help. I'm not taking full responsibility that you lie, but I'm also going to take my ownership of what I've done to contribute to you not being able to tell me the truth, because I want to be safe for you. Okay. The other thing about healthy relationships, when you're evaluating if my relationship is healthy, is you have close friends and family who like the other person and they're happy about your relationship. Don't be that type of person. You fall in love and all your friends don't like your boyfriend or your girlfriend or your fiance or your husband, you know, because your friends know you more than yourself. Sometimes they've been with you for a long time. It's good to allow them to give input into your life so that you can see the blind spots that you may not have seen, because later on when things go interesting, you wish you could have listened because your friends know you more. So if your parents or your friends kind of give you like ideas like, hey, maybe you want to look more into this, don't ignore those things because you're in love. Put them into consideration, okay? And if people are happy about your relationship, that's a good thing. But if they are worried, that's also not a good sign, you know? So you have to really think about that stuff, okay? The other one is I'm almost done. So I have like maybe 3 or 4 more to go. If you're in an intimate relationship, especially romantic, you don't feel pressure to have sex with a person. You know, in this day of people being very abusive, because sometimes, we tell people not to kind of avoid getting intimate with each other because it really muddies the waters, because that sex is good, then your brain is out. You don't even see that this person is not good for you because you're so lost in that good sex. So if the person is consistently pressuring you to have sex, sometimes you don't know if they actually want a relationship with you or they just want to use you. You don't know that. So if you remove that element out of the picture, it could bring some form of clarity, which can be a healthy thing. Okay. The other one is you communicate about sex if your relationship is sexual. You know, some of these problems, they come up in marriage, and you're asking, how did you end up here? How could you be married 10, 15 years and there is no sex in your relationship? You should be able to communicate about sex. Even if you're not having it, it's healthy to have conversation to see what you agree with or not agree with. There's actually a book, it's called Lies at the Altar. And one of the things that in the book was addressed is like, you need to know what sexual pleasure or what sexual interests are for the other person. You have to know that before you really commit to them in a marital relationship, because you may be surprised to get there and you realize, I didn't sign up for this. But yeah, you did sign up with it because you signed your name on that marriage certificate. So you want to have those conversations in a safe place. And also, you want to give each other space. You know, you don't want to be that couple that you're always together. It's like you're peanut butter and jelly all the time. You need to have your own space, do your own thing, and then know how to balance and come back with each other, as opposed to you lose yourself because you're in a relationship. That can become overwhelming. But if you're doing it together, that may be also interesting. May not be healthy for you, but you need other people outside of your relationship. And then lastly, you need to treat each other with respect, you know? And there are things that people do that may not be very drastically bad, but they may communicate something different to you, especially based upon how you were raised. I'll give a brief example. So if I express to you that when you talk to me using curse words, I feel disrespected, and you justify it because, well, I don't see anything wrong with it. That's how we grew up. All my friends or my family use curse words. What's wrong with you? I wouldn't feel respected, especially if I express to you that that's something that bothers me and you keep doing it and justifying it. I wouldn't feel respected. So in your relationships, my encouragement to you is try to identify, especially the things that I've highlighted here to you. If there is anything that resonates with you, and evaluate the relationship with the person that you are with or the person you want to evaluate if my relationship with this person is healthy, and then you can decide. So next week, I'm going to talk to you about what is unhealthy. Stay tuned. So please share this video, like it, and comment. By the way, I would love to hear your feedback. If you have any comments, please feel free to put them in the comment. Tell me some of the topics you actually prefer would want to hear from me. Again, if you've never been in therapy before, you don't know how to engage, where to start, you could reach out to me. I'll give you a free consultation and we'll take it from there. Again, my website is forerunnercounseling.com. I'm located in Montclair, New Jersey. And for those of you who want to incorporate faith in your journey, this is a good place for you because God created us for relationships and we need to know how to do that. The greatest commandment is to love God with all your heart, mind, soul, and strength. And the second commandment is to love your neighbor as you love yourself. So first learn to be loved by God, then learn to love yourself, and then learn to love your neighbor. It sounds easy, but that's one of the hardest things to ever do because in our lives, relationships keep evolving because you change and they change, and you have to keep on working through things until you consistently obey that commandment to love God and to love your neighbor as you love yourself. So thank you so much for watching. You can put your comments, subscribe, share it, and I'll see you next week when we talk about what unhealthy relationships look like. Thank you so much for watching.